least favorite pick from him, but yeah, there were other options that I thought he could have gone here that I would have preferred.
Yeah. So you did mention the Amamola pick, which is his second RU pick, and I like this pick for where it's at and which team it's at. Access to Wish, Healing Wish, which can really save a lot of things on his team. So that being like the Mega Lopunny, Honchkrow, um, Thunderous even, and that can really change the match and his favor. So and it also has access to Magic Coat and Scald if you want to be that sort of person. If you want to be that guy.
Yeah, I had a lot of first-hand experience up against Ayla Momola last year with as when he played with Vade on the Kecleons in the V League,
Yeah.
and it's just so bulky, can take multiple hits, and then it just switches out with Regenerator, and you have to worry about it all over again. And it's gonna be interesting to see Alinsko use it this season. Wish Regenerator, you've got Heal Bell. It's just such a good cleric.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really good compliment to this team itself. Um, I like it where it is and where he got it at.
Yeah, and if worse comes to worse, you can always go Healing Wish, restore a bit of HP from someone that's gone down, and it's a really bulky wall as well. So I reckon this was another really good pick, especially since he didn't already have a bulky water type.
Yeah, for the pick for its value, it's a really awesome pick for where he got it at. Oh no, screens where are you doing? Oh, okay. Healing Wish can save tons of lives, and it can really bring back that momentum, especially the sort of mons that he has on his team. But we'll move on to his final pick in the RU pick, which is the Configurus.
Yeah, this is another B League specialist Pokemon here. Last season, came up huge as a member of the Golden State War Turtles. A couple of weeks in particular, pretty much swept the opponent, which really revealed a different side to what you would expect it to do. And I think Alinsko's taking notes as he's gone and penciled this one in as something that he can use this season. I'm imagining that he'll be attempting to try something like that at least once throughout the season.
Yeah, and with Configurus' ability too, with that being Mummy, it can really nullify things like Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr thrives on its ability, that being the Iron Fist and Guts.
Yeah.
So it's the only mon that can really nullify that thing, because Conkeldurr wants to knock off, well, now you're into a Mummy, your ability has turned into Mummy, and I can Will-O-Wisp you now. So that's pretty scary. I think Configurus also gets Infestation, which you can trap Conkeldurr in. I think it does. I would have to double check that. So there's a lot of things you can do with this mon. It has incredible defense. It also has access to Nasty Plot. And I'm just checking to see if it does have, yeah, it does have Infestation. So you can trap things in. And that alone is a scary thought.
Yeah, he's going to be one to watch. That's going to be something to watch out for this season. It's just another thing that you always have to guarantee that you prep for.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't go
another.
into it. You have to make sure that you have a way to beat Cofagrigus. So far, all of his picks, except maybe Bronzong, that's fairly similar to Heatran, but all of the other Pokemon, you have to have a way to beat going in. And even if he doesn't bring it, you still have to be prepared to take it down. And I think that's a really big advantage that he's got this season.
Well, he took a different approach to his second half of the draft, because a lot of people for the first half of the draft, they took offensive in OU to UU, but he took a more defensive approach to RU, That being that most people took offensive glass cannons in RU. He took a defensive approach to his later on picks. Second half is bulk. That's pretty much the thing that I was getting to. His next pick for NU, his very first pick for the NU, is the Claydol, which gives him another rapid spinner, another screen setter. But it's pretty much the same as a Bronzong, and with just a different typing. Claydol and Bronzong. It's another Levitate user. Like I said, now the Bronzong pick is still not my most favoriteest thing on this draft, but Claydol, Bronzong, and Heatran all on the same team. I'm going to be intrigued on how he implements that into a battle and how he preps for that, just because Claydol and Bronzong don't have enough power to take out a lot of things.
Yeah, Claydol was I think that was one of the. He's already got a really good spinner in Tentacruel. So Claydol was it feels a different role for him. I think it's another levitator, which is similar to Bronzong, and it's what else? There's something I'm forgetting that Claydol does.
An explosion. It can explode. The normal gen exploding Claydol. That is... No, that's not fun. That's not a fun thing. That's not a fun thought.
That's gonna hurt someone.
But yeah, I like this pick better than the Bronzong, just because it has a different typing than Heatran. It has access to pretty much what Bronzong does. He has a lot of things that can go boom, and not a nice boom. It's just a bad explosion of terror.
Yeah. I think I do like this pick more than the Bronzong. I feel like we're hating on Bronzong a lot. But all in all, Bronzong was like probably one of the poorer picks in probably the best draft. And I think he's going to really do well with this team this season. And Claydol as a second spinner. Claydol as a second spinner is really going to help his team. And it sort of frees up Tentacruel to have options.
That is true. His final pick for the NU round was the Gurdurr, the mini Conkeldurr.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, and this thing does different things than Conkeldurr, because it has a bit more. I think it has a bit more bulk, because you can put Eviolite and you can bulk up for days if you want a Will-O-Wisp. Well, Gurdurr can easily take that up and sort of throw it back at your face. So there's that. I think it's the bulkier Conkeldurr.
Yeah, it's another poke. He's really filling up bulk roles at this stage in the draft. I think Gurdurr is really underrated in terms of how much of a tank it is, but it's something that really needs a fair amount of setup to really pull off. So it's going to be one of those Pokemon that probably only needs in a couple of matchups, but it should be able to come in and do its job really well.
Yeah, I like this Gurdurr pick for where it is at and what's going on with this team. But his wild card pick was perhaps the one of the best snags, because I think this guy also had the last pick for the wild card round.
Yeah, he just didn't have any luck with these picks.
But he made it work out, and he got the Quagsire. I think this was the mon that he wanted the whole time. So last pick, but got the Quagsire. That's not bad. He can call it a GG, call it a day, go out for some steak dinner after that Quagsire. And Quagsire is an unaware Pokemon that has access to like unaware, Water Absorb, Recover, Toxic. Once again, another Infestation user. Scald, Earthquake, Earth Power. And
Yeah.
yeah.
One of my favorite Pokemon to use last season. It's just such a defensive wall, and it can really be used in a lot of ways. There was one week where I ran trapped a Blissey in with Quagsire and Toxic stalled it to death.
I
That was
remember that. That was one of the battles of the season. I remember that. I watched that. That was an incredible set to watch, and just because of that reason, I started using Infestation Quagsire to beat up walls.
yeah, it really is an underrated what's it? Yeah, it's just really underrated Pokemon in its ability to just survive, and I think it just hangs around for so long that the opponent really can't do much if it's played well.
Well
And
played,
he's
Quagsire.
yeah, he's got in the chat. He would have picked it at pick number one even if he had it at the wild card. And I think that's a pretty fair statement. There's if a lot of 15 other teams chose to overlook Quagsire, and I reckon that's going to come back to cost at least one of them over the course of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I certainly, for one, was looking at Quagsire too. Quagsire is an incredible mon, and especially on the team that it's at, it's a good team. But the only thing that I really see for this team is that you've got a really good defensive core, but your main hitters are Lopunny, Heatran, Thundurus, Tentacruel, and Honchkrow. Everything else is not, maybe even arguably Girder can do some damage, but not a lot of things can hurt you that much. Maybe if he ran that nasty plot Cofagrigus or Cofagrigus, he could do that, but I don't see his team really, like, those are his main primary attackers that you can see at first hand.
Yeah, I think last season he relied on a very bulky team, and he had a few select Pokemon that he wanted to come in and do a lot of damage. And I think that he's following a very similar strategy this season. He probably doesn't have. He has different walls this season, but it's whether or not he has enough of the offense to pick up the KOs that he needs to win each week. And
Yeah.
I think he last season he had the really Mega Alakazam, really fast Mega, and this season he's gone for another really fast Mega Lopunny. So there's a lot of similarities I see between this season and last season, and he was able to make it work really well last season. So I would expect nothing different this season.
Yeah, and we're going to see the interesting transition that he goes from with the RBL B League to the RBL A League. I do believe he had the best record in RBL B.
Yeah.
And he made it all the way into the finals against the Golden State War Turtles. So I'm really intrigued on how his playstyle comes into this league. There's more Pokemon that can counter different teams now too, just because in the RBL B League you had to pick from a limited pool.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of options last season, so it's a lot different to be able to come out and draft some bulky OU mons and have a lot more options. So it's going to be interesting to see how everyone goes.
Yeah, so I'm really intrigued to see how people will prep for that and how that will work out, because there's going to be a lot of rematches for the RBL B League, but there's going to be a lot of first-time battles for the RBL A members, just because a lot of us haven't really played a lot of the B League people in terms of just like prepping for a team specifically, and counter teaming